So what do we think is the best way to do this? How do we teach someone everything that we, as a species, no, not just what I know, but as a species, know. We can look at how I would teach someone what I know, and that is to do it in a similar way that I do things, or possibly learn it in the way that I learned it, which obviously is in some way effective because I know the thing. So if we were to teach a child the collective knowledge of everything, and we had to maybe start at the beginning with, do we start here? So what did we learn first as a species? We learned to collect berries and to eat them, which is easy enough. And we also learned to hunt. Not as easy. I really don't want to give children knives and say, go hunt, dear children, and bring me my food. That would be fun. Actually, it's last few years food. That would be happy. But yeah, I don't think we should start with the idea of how I started. Maybe a different way to do that is something that is actually done right now, and that is to teach language, right? And the idea here being that with language, once you understand what language is, and or other at least understand one of the languages and learn to speak it, you can communicate with your friends and your teachers and your parents and things like that, hopefully encouraging socialization, which is ultimately the point of school, I think. So if you can teach someone a language and teach them to communicate well with it, you effectively increase their socializing skills, and with those socializing skills, they tend to have conversations with other people, with other like-minded people, with other people with different thoughts in their heads, and that teaches us a lot of things, especially children, because every interaction they have with every person is a huge learning experience for them. And it is these experiences, these interactions that foster ideas. It is those conversations, it is those ideas that have to be communicated really. And if we can teach everyone to communicate these ideas well through language that everybody knows, we ultimately have an educated population, I think. So even the farmer who can understand ideas can maybe understand the idea of a tractor, and how a plow with an automatic plow can help him till his land a lot easier than he has to presently, possibly with manual labor and things like that, right? Or even in more severe cases, in a case that we're dealing with in India right now, which is the lack of toilets, and the few places where toilets were introduced, no one used them because socially they thought that toilets, because everybody comes and puts all their dump in one place, it makes it even worse. It basically makes that one place that much more unhygienic. And while these people who have been used to open defecation have been going to as desolate a spot as possible, as far away from their own living space, and then we go and put a toilet next to their bedroom, they don't enjoy it. Uh, which is something that we have to deal with culturally as well, and we have to learn how to incorporate all their cultural beliefs and possibly explain to them how this might be better. But all of those things initially needs language, and if we can teach that somehow, I think that would be a good start. So basically, socializing and making friends with your classmates and your teachers, and that hopefully increases conversations. So a school suddenly becomes less of a classroom and more of a place where you first become friends, then learn, then talk about it some more, and then learn, and then talk about it some more, right? So it's a complete loop, hopefully. So we are ultimately hoping to design a place where children come to be educated collectively, right? The social part of our idea comes into this sentence. Or to put that a little well, more loosely, design a place where children come to be educated collectively by hanging out. What if school was just a place you went to hang out? If it was that much fun that you went there and you spoke to a lot of people all day and through those interactions learned things, I think that would be an interesting school to study in. So my first design postulate. What is a postulate? It is a thing that I'm suggesting or I'm assuming is true for the basis of this particular discussion only, right? Until I can either prove it, at which point it becomes something else, or I disprove it, in which case I chuck it, right? So my first postulate is a school should be a collective learning environment. And this particular diagram shows my different collective zones and my different learning zones. So with these two things, hopefully a lot of interaction happens, and so they collectively learn. But you'll notice that I don't mean that my learning spaces or my classrooms are circles, right? This is a diagram. This is not a drawing. This is something that we can cover further if you like, little later. But the first thing you do with a postulate is to find out if it's true, to find out if it can either be proved true, in which case you're fine and clear, or if someone's already disproved it, in which case oh dear God. So luckily for us, this particular thing holds kind of true through two colleges, two rather very reputed colleges who've done research in this area. The first one being Carnegie Mellon and another one from Stanford. So Carnegie Mellon says cooperative learning, two heads learn better than one. Yay! So that kind of confirms what we were saying. So it is better to learn as groups. So hopefully by hanging out and having these conversations, we can actually learn, and it might actually be better than learning by ourselves. The second one is by Stanford, where they say cooperative learning. Students working in small groups learn better. And here the idea is that it turns out that learning by yourself is not as good as learning in a group, but learning in large groups might not be much better. So we have to change this thing into and change our idea of what we are saying to a school should be a small, or rather a school should be small collective learning environments. So maybe our diagram changes a little and we change the way we think.